So close, yet so far for Team Dignitas there in game number 2 as Gen.G once again. And I think, you know, Dredd explained it very, very well there over at the commentary desk. It's like watching a ballet almost, with the focus on rotations and macro play coming out from both of these teams, which ultimately led to a Gen.G victory.
It was really amazing stuff. I mean, Dignitas is one of the best teams at macro in the world. They always have been. Their late game decision-making totally strong. It has been for the beginning of Heroes of the Storm history. But the things that the commentators highlighted, like these rotations around the map, just trying to use that catch-up experience to even it out, they were so far behind and they were able to get up right even just by making all these really cool small plays. Dignitas wasn't just falling down and dying either. They were rotating to try to get that mid-keep. They were threatening all sorts of rotational setups in the bush to make sure if Gen.G was going to rotate in that direction, they'd get ambushed. So Dignitas played a great game too, but Gen.G was just one step ahead.
I think their map, their picks, their draft, you were very confident and comfortable with it. I mean, we were looking at it and going, yeah, that's a great draft, but it still is the beast that is known as Gen.G, right? And I feel like there's a lot of questions now to be asked as to where this series goes. I feel like if you're looking at the map picks, for Dignitas, given that they're going to have the choice of first pick or first ban, it's like, well, if you're going to go for that map pick, well, it's going to be Tales of Doom. Hey, hang on a minute, Gen.G are very good at that as well, but then if you do give the map pick over to the side of Gen.G, then I'm assuming they're going to go for the Sky Temple, and you're not too good at Sky Temple. So I feel like it gets to a situation where Dignitas now are almost choked into getting a first pick.
And this is kind of what we briefly spoke about just before we actually came back on here, is that if Dignitas isn't winning with that draft, where are they winning? This is brutal to see how Gen.G plays.
So coming into the bracket, I actually thought that Dignitas would have it really rough against Gen.G, but the thing is, I still feel that they are constantly here, still improving from game to game, and it's actually visible. And now that they're going up against Gen.G multiple times, they are adapting pretty quickly. I'm not sure if it's enough to turn the series around. I actually highly doubt it. I think the Koreans are just a tad too strong. But if we are actually at any point a rematch, if for example Dignitas, let's say they fall into a lower bracket and make it through, then I feel in the next instance we would see a different match entirely. Because I think as good as Gen.G is, Dignitas is showing in every single game signs of life and signs of genius as well.
All right, time to get into it. Game number 3 at the moment between Gen.G and Dignitas. Gen.G 2-0 at the moment, looking for one more victory to push them through to the winner bracket final.
I like the first ban, Maev here, because I feel like Gen.G, they've dealt with this composition so well in Korea back in regular season, but against Dignitas, I think they actually did have some trouble with it in that early game, despite the fact they're well-versed against it. This is not, you know, your bottom tier of Korea team we're dealing with here. This is Team Dignitas, right? And the pick it worked really well for Gen.G. It's a stronger map for the Maev. And because they have first pick, they can go back to that Malfurion we were talking about that's more reactionary.
But the one thing that I also want to highlight is that Gen.G currently is doing something against Dignitas, which in the European League setup we have not seen to this extent. They always deny Dignitas Malfurion. They either pick him first themselves or they ban them if they're not first pick. So we talked about how Malfurion stands above any other support for most teams, and that's more so true for Dignitas, where Zelia absolutely excels with the hero, has one of the most insane records in European League play. He's sitting at 21 wins and 3 losses, and Gen.G is just simply saying, no, you can try and deviate, but we know that your Stukov is not as strong, none of your other heroes is as strong as your Malfurion. This is the one tool that you have. We're going to take it away every single time, and whatever else you throw at us, we can deal with it.
Yeah, Sake is stuck to this Malfurion pretty much without a doubt throughout the entire playoffs, or even just during the group stages leading into this one. So it's a very comfortable pick for them. And it seems to me as if they just have Dignitas picked to the post to every stage of this draft. I mean, we've seen them in the execution. Obviously, that's 9 attempts to the law. But in terms of drafting as well, if you are feeling very comfortable with what you have and able to execute that to a T, then it's very difficult for Dignitas to try and showcase otherwise. They had their closest showing in last game. Tomb of the Spider Queen, though, is once again an EU classic, but Gen.G are no stranger to this map.
We see a lot of offlane Junkrat on this map because the map is obviously smaller than other battlegrounds, so you know, having a more traditional melee that really pushes the lanes quite hard is not as necessary on this battleground. That's why Dahaka's priority is obviously low in Korea on this battleground as well. We see the Stitches ban come out here as well, some respect there. But I think the Junkrat ban here isn't really going to gain Dignitas anything. I think it does kind of show that they're not entirely sure what to make of where Gen.G is going to take this draft. And I want to go back to those hammer bans because it feels the same way. It feels like Dignitas is banning things they know Gen.G is known for, but I don't think would necessarily run in these compositions. Like Hanzo with a Junkrat is pretty rare and uncommon in Korea.
Stukov and Jane are going to come out once again to showcase some burst potential. I like the fact that they banned the Stitches. We know how strong JPL is on it, and we know there's a big affinity in Korea for them going Genji, locking it in with the Ufa, and that is your bread and butter composition. You got the hook, you got the reliable Hammer of Justice, stun in place, and if you do have that Jaina there as your follow-up burst, you have a lot of CC to smack through somebody. So heads up drafting from Gen.G, a lot more calculated as opposed to sort of the blind ban on the Junkrat there, Caldor.
There's another aspect to it too, because Dignitas likes to fall back onto a Stitches draft when there's a lot of pressure on them and when they're on the back foot. That doesn't really happen as much anymore. They still throw them out every now and then, especially on Tomb. But when they are under pressure and when they have to play from behind, that is a great comp. You rely heavily on your hooks and you rely heavily on getting these isolations. But if any team can make that happen on this map, then it's Dignitas and of course to an extent Fnatic too. I still like what we're seeing here from Dignitas what they draft. I feel Gen.G is going to allow them to rotate quickly on the maps and trying to get that early pressure. We talked about that Stukov and Jaina aspect. They just need another tank for initiation. Could be Muradin that they're going for. If it was Fnatic, I would probably highlight an Uberaka at this point, but they definitely need someone that can get that initial stun in.
The Lunara is, you know, a little bit puzzling to me for Gen.G. Obviously, she's proven to be quite strong throughout this tournament in the right hands. To add that asterisk there. She does a lot of damage in terms of dealing with the structures and pushing the lanes with her Nature's Calling. She can also scale well into the late game if we do end up getting to that stage, which does happen quite a lot with European teams, especially versus Asia. But it's not a common pick for Korea. It's not a comfortable pick. And it's fairly risky into what Dignitas is running, so I'm not a big fan of it. But again, we haven't seen Korea do this in a long time since double support running the Lunara, so how well it's going to fare is yet unknown.
Thoughts on the Varian?
I mean, I wanted an initial stun. I expected something along the lines of Muradin, especially with JPL's preference on the hero. Varian fulfills this same tool, but he doesn't have... I mean, it's a little bit interesting because we've seen him only against Tracer so far.
Yeah.
So that still helps you from 4 to 9 to get a lot of kills, or it should help you because you just simply go for the taunt, you go for the silence, you have the damage there. The question just is Gen.G going to give them these kills? But Dignitas is definitely trying to get early game kills and snowball it from there through a double turn-in.
Time for predictions.
I really don't favor the draft of Gen.G, and I think that Dignitas has built a draft to control that early game, something that's been the theme of this entire best of 5. But at the same time, I've lacked faith in them in the group stage. I was wrong. They were able to, even after taking early losses in Game 2, bounce back, and I'm going to stick with my Gen.G prediction here.
I'm liking what Dignitas are doing personally. I'm going to stick with the Gen.G prediction as my going forward, but I like Dignitas are highly prioritizing the early game. That is where the strength comes from. That is their best shot at trying to take down Gen.G. It's just the consistency leading into mid to late game where Gen.G are fantastic at stalling things out. You hit 20, and they say it's game over.
I'm actually going with Dignitas.
Okay.
I think they have... I like the idea. They come in and they say, okay, what we tried so far didn't work. Now we need to try and get early game kills. Let's try and make a snowball happen. It's high risk, but if they play it perfectly, I feel they have a bit of a chance there. For me, I feel Garrosh has to be the one who every single time someone gets attacked, he needs to flip the target out. And Dignitas is hoping for a snowball. I think they have what it takes to get it. I mean, it's like, at some point I have to vote for the Europeans here. I can't go 0-3 against them. So yeah, I'm saying this is the game where Dignitas has a chance.
I think it was their best chance of all 3 drafts, in my opinion as well.
There is a strategy there, and I like it.
Well, I have to go back to Gen.G. I'm sorry.
No dance?
No dance.
You're not joining me here?
I got close in the previous game.
Kaldor dance instead. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, Kaldor will dance if they break the streak. There you go.
Definitely not.
It's going to happen.
It's a promise. There you go. That's what he said. He said it in German to me. 59% to 41% in favor of Gen.G.
Where's the loyalty, chat? What's going on?
The only thing I have to say to that is gleich das, aber kein Beifall.
I couldn't hear you because my producer was talking at the same time. So let's go over to the commentators as well and see what they think. What do you think, boys?
Well, I think you put it best was if they couldn't beat them with their first draft or their second draft, what can they beat them with? Dread, I was not expecting a Varian to be the answer.
Yeah, Varian with the snowball opportunities. It's nice in theory, but the trade-off in the mid-game to late game, Dignitas cannot make a mistake, even if they begin to get that snowball.
You have to believe. You have to take this on faith.
I tried once.
I have faith in 33-0.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I have faith in.
There you go.
Don't come at me with that logic, okay?
Have fun, guys.
All right, well, I actually did get that translated in my ear. Caldor will be dancing, right? So everybody has something to look forward to. He's not on screen to deny it anymore. Needless to say, Dreadnought, we've got Gen.G up 2-0, and a variant pick here when the Stitches was denial. We know Dignitas loves to go back to that Stitches.
Yeah. And now we're going to figure out if Gen.G can close this out and move on to the winners finals here. Where in blue we have Malfurion played by Sake, Rich on his Hanzo, Tits going to be on Garrosh, Reset is on Lunara, and Leoric played by Kyocha. Give it up for Gen.G!
Barely hear you over all the B steps. Dignitas going to be on the right here in red, as it will be Wubby on Blaze, Snitch on Genji, Zalia on Stukov, Poik on Jaina. JPL seeing if he can get those taunts on the variant. Give it up for Dignitas.
Already got to start this out. Respect with Dignitas, understanding that their kill potential does not exist. You know, it gets heightened when they have the opportunities to be able to try and get this minion wave block. The goal for this is to make the halfway point where the minions typically meet a little bit closer to them, so the kill potential that much better into their favor. But a nice Wraith Walk immediately out from Kyocha, and it looks like rotational advantage is going to fall in favor of Gen.G pretty heavily here.
Snitch already putting quite a bit of pressure there on to Reset on that Lunara. That will be a point of interest for Snitch throughout this game, is to try and get on that somewhat squishy backline with the Malfurion. If he can get going in that late, or in the post level 10 essentially, then they do have that. But again, a lot will be prioritized on that front line. You get that charge, you get the taunt, you get the lurking arm, you get Jaina, you get a swift strike. We could be looking at that early game potential.
But in that downtime, until the 4 marks hit, Gen.G, the world is theirs. Rich should be as dominant as he possibly can be within the 4-man, looking to get a lot of stacks there on that level 1 choice from him. But it's really, you know, Hanzo is one of the best at dictating control when looking at these top and middle lane here. You know, I often think of Heroes Hearth and Crow and how often we saw them constantly use this hero to kind of dictate the pace of the game. And with Dignitas in this trade-off, the biggest thing that I was concerned about is even if they get this snowball, their gems have to have so much value. Their sieging capability is near non-existent, so they need to be able to get those kills, and then more importantly, make something happen with the web weavers afterwards, which, generally speaking, when we're talking about variant, that just means more kills here, J-How.
Yeah, and Lunara puts a huge slow on that, as does Hanzo. So as much as you want to achieve out of it, you have a lot of work to do from beginning of end of this game. So Lunara, Nature's Culling at level 4, as Wolf had alluded to, and then, you know, Hanzo likely to be explosive arrow here, but we have seen some players go into that scatter arrow at level 4 here on 2.
Dignitas is one of the better teams in the world to be able to put rotational pressure into the off lane, and Kyocha onto Leoric is definitely one of the more vulnerable, and having Snitch on a Genji to be able to get that track down on that bottom half, which is why we constantly see Dignitas making that happen. When the 4 hits, I expect a different play coming out from them, again, to be able to match in that kill potential with the Jaina and friends, and this is where Dignitas is going to be able to, again, round that kind of curve, and we'll see how much kill potential they truly get, because for now, the wave clear and control in favor of Gen.G.
It looks like they might try and do that behind a night camp, as we see Stukov and Jaina on that mini-map. They've started this. They should be able to push in under this. Nature's Culling was picked up, as was Explosive Arrow there for Hanzo. So we'll see if they can siege up underneath this, see if they can find an opportunity to get on to Test. Remember, that is a Garrosh, so every time that Blizzard comes down, that armor continues to go up. And Gen.G, they recognize, hey, well, you've got a camp pushing, we're going to try and get one of our own.
Yeah, see if they can get it timed better here than Dignitas, or if Dignitas is able to stall it out. And in fact, perfect timing here from Gen.G. You know, I don't know why I expect any different coming out from a roster like this. Being able to stack it here onto the front wall, and actually in that off lane, Snitch, as I said, make the transfer down, and they get the kill. Very well done here for Dignitas. But Dignitas comp can't just have 1 to 2 kills. They absolutely need to snowball this game out of control. Almost as bad as we saw Gen.G snowball Dragonshire versus Team Dignitas.
I think it's hard to really put into context just how much they have to do.
Yeah.
It is almost, I don't want to say it's impossible. This is Dignitas, but you're going up against a team that they like to kill you back. That's the problem, right? And so it's like, all right, well, you're going to get a kill. It's not going to go for free, so we'll see how that goes as we see Reset and team clearing up this top lane. Dignitas, 1 gem short of a potential, should have enough. They have enough now if they can get them turned in. So we see Leoric actually lost a handful in that bot lane, so Gen.G still a little ways to go.
And I actually would really enjoy if Dignitas didn't force a turn-in very quickly here. Stick around because they got that kill on the bottom half. They have the gem rotation for a little bit longer here into their favor. But more importantly, it puts them in an opportunity to be able to wait it out and not get those early web weavers. The web weavers don't scale that effectively. And you and I talked about how much they need to make happen. So when they make that happen, dance around, look for a couple of kills with the Varian. And then if the, Gen.G gets that much closer or things like, then you may be able to get that snowball and, look for that force with the web weavers. For now, though,
for an optimal time, as you and I have discussed many, many times, an optimal time is that 7.5 to level 8 mark.
Yeah.
Because then you can get walls, and the fort walls are what kind of propels you towards that level 10
there it is.
And gets that snowball. And we see Poik, he's actually going to get interrupted by that Sonic arrow, but if they can get the turn in right around now to level 8, they can snowball, and you'll see right around they'll be even right around level 8. And if Dignitas is able to get those walls down, then they'll be shooting for 10. Right now, Gen.G not letting that happen.
This is very well done by Dignitas to get that off-lane pressure to make sure things kind of don't snowball on that southern half of the map. Zalia get caught out with the groundbreaker, going to get flipped over. No kill potential yet, but the body blocks there. Rich with the scatter arrow, and fighting back is going to be Gen.G, Varian, and friends trying to make something happen. But it's actually, both of these compositions, especially Team Dignitas, if they're the initiators, things are okay. If they're getting initiated on, Varian and Stukov struggle heavily at turning around those fights. And I feel like it was showcased pretty well there.
Yeah, a lot of it requires, you can't just have one element of that. You're not killing a Garrosh with just a Jaina. Maybe, I guess, if you get that level 16 talent, the armor reduction, and then get that level 1 completed, but that is much later in the game. Needless to say, Gen.G here with the first turn, and not going to be that of Dignitas. We'll see how much they can get done. As you can see, that mid-wave did take some early siege damage from that night camp. This is going to be Gen.G's opportunity to potentially snowball this, but JPL and team seeing if they can get a pick in the meantime. Looks like they're going to have to concede, fall back, and defend.
Yeah, at some point they're going to have to fight past one of these web weavers to try and catch Gen.G in rotation. But we need to keep in mind that there are about 30 to 40 gems in the hand of Dignitas. So if something happens more than just heavy amount of sieging, and keep in mind the major experience spike that we're going to see Gen.G be able to claim for themselves with this web weaver phase, it's very difficult for Dignitas to find that next turn-in opportunity. And even more so, again, if we see any kind of kill opportunity. Interesting decision-making here with the rotations from Gen.G with more priority over to the mid lane. Top's been cleared out for Team Dignitas, but likely we're looking at the first fort of the game. And again, 10 is closing so very close. Poik and friends getting chunked out by a scatter arrow.
I hear Rich is pretty good on this hero. Needless to say.
He's all right.
Yeah, I'd say that Poik is like, I probably shouldn't have been that close to the wall, but now Gen.G, here's the close to 10 mark that we were talking about. Didn't quite get as much. Obviously, they highly prioritized that mid lane. Sometimes you'll see that you get closer to 10 quick enough, and then you can just force your way in with that threat of 10. Instead, Dignitas, they're awfully close here. A couple more waves. We'll see if Snitch is going to sniff out reset there. Rich going to hang out for a little bit. Got to be careful. I was going to say, 10 is here, and there's going to be a taunt available. I don't think he's making it out of here, Dre.
Yeah, he's not going to make it out. No response available for Team Dignitas. And now I want to bring it back to the decision-making on what fort to prioritize for Gen.G. We talked about the lack of wave clear that Dignitas has, and we know that they need to be able to get a lot of kill potential and things of the like. At what point is that going to happen if middle is constantly controlled by Gen.G? There is only one area on the map that they can cycle through whatsoever, and Tomb of the Spider Queen, those are very predictable transitions. So it makes it a lot harder for Dignitas to get exactly what is necessary within their composition. That is true no matter what lane you choose, but without a doubt the most valuable for Gen.G is the mid lane. So it is one of those moments where, it's a bit different priority, but I feel like it's very, very justified considering Dig's comp.
We're going to see if Dignitas can get that turn in. They are holding on to several gems. They have that night camp pressuring mid, but they need to get a turn, and they just need 8. It looks like Varian might be in position. Scatter arrow just going everywhere. The Sonic arrow out, going to stop him as well. So Dignitas still not able to. Scatter arrow chunking away at Varian. Snitch manning the front line, trying to see if he can find an opportunity, find some poke potential. But right now, Gen.G is giving Dignitas fits, and they are able to turn this in, and now Dignitas is they're going to have to deal with the camp middle themselves.
Dig moving up. Reset with a nice amount of dismount there with the Thornwood Vine, but he's a bit isolated. Dig tries to capitalize. Dragon's Arrow, a nice route there, buys breathing room here for Gen.G. Taunt goes down onto Hanzo, but no kill potential with the Lurking Arm isn't there in time. Natural Agility gets him out of here. Snitch tries to make something happen, but he's immediately flipped. X-Strike used. Protect drop there. Kyoshi actually into the Frayed. and nobody drops there. Lots of fireworks, and Dignitas actually winning in the heroic count now.
That is definitely something in their favor. So we see Bunker was not used, not needed. Camp going to be dealt with here in the mid lane. Again, a small advantage for Gen.G as they're starting to collect more and more gems, starting to get closer to a turn in themselves. But Dignitas desperately needs to gain some control over this battleground. They are sitting on 74 gems, 42 turned in. Only need 8 of those to go in. And Gen.G is just not having anything of it. We'll see if we get the taunt here, Dread.
Yeah, but he's able to survive, at least for now. Massive shove actually stopped by the Indomitable. Wubby looking for a flank, 2-man gem propulsion, immediately going to get the Nature's Curse. Tisk goes ahead and flips him over, drops the Groundbreaker. Everybody gets into the bunker, throws out the flames, and Dignitas to get the kill.
That's one way to start. They might be looking for more. Snitch, he's got to get out of danger first. You can see Rich aggressively moving forward there. Kyocha, see if he gets the lockdown, does have the Entomb, looking for an opportunity. Dragon Arrow available as well, but there's going to be the taunt. There's going to be the silence, and there's going to be Lior going down. Reset in trouble. There's going to be Snitch helping to get the takedown. And now all of a sudden, 3 members from Gen.G have fallen. Rich forced to use the Dragon Arrow just to survive their trip.
And Dignitas has the moment to be able to get this turn in, and they are going to be able to siege and finally recover control here on Tomb of the Spider Queen. We've said it before, and we have to bring it up again, is now we got the first Web Weaver for Dig. It doesn't mean that suddenly this is back to even footing. They do not have a sieging composition. Yes, we are looking at later Web Weavers kind of scaling, but they need to be able to get that taunt combo or at least threaten heroics in the same manner we saw them do before the skirmish, and why they've been able to net profit here.
Kyocha just taking so much damage. Nice dismount there onto JPL. Indomitable used into the fray, toss over. They realized the threat was there. It's going to be the jet propulsion into the lurking arm, but JPL not able to close that gap. Good roots put down by Sake, trying to buy time. Snitch going in, putting the pressure onto Rich, starting to take fort shots, however. Scatter Arrow, oh my God.
Yeah, forces out the X-Strike. And I'm not going to lie, Snitch had to use that X-Strike or he was dead. Moving into that corner, Rich very much trading up for the team. Keep in mind, Lunara doing her best to get rid of that top Web Weaver and middle Web Weaver, using that Nature's Coal and turning around for the team here. So a very good 1-4 split from Gen.G, and without Dignitas netting that kill that they needed, again, this is now Gen.G looking at that and going, where are you going to be able to win this game, Dignitas? Because these Web Weavers are not getting as much as they definitely would like.
They have the blow-up potential. JPL moving to the top, seeing if he can maybe get something set up. However, Jaina is bottom, and now JPL on an island by himself. The heal's going to go out. Dragon Arrow is going to lock down 2 members. JPL, he will not survive. Kyocha, he's trying to find another. There's going to be gems falling.
Thornwood Vine going to be thrown out in a moment. Scatter Arrow used into the fray, actually forcing on the massive shove, but it does not matter. Zalia ends up going down there. And, Snitch, oh my goodness, with that natural agility over the wall. Rich is not afraid of anything, forcing out the Tranquility. Jaina and the welly damage might be there. Kyocha trying to get enough, the Wraith Walk through to try and cripple the members of Gen.G, and they see Team Dignitas turning around a little bit of this fight here, at least getting the kill onto Rich. The biggest thing, though, out of these skirmishes is Dignitas has actually only lost 20 gems. Wubby has been able to keep hold of 60 of them.
Well, now we're going to have another Web Weaver turned in here. Siege Giants, though, have bottom lane pushed out very, very well here for Dignitas, but that could have gone so much worse for Dignitas. Gen.G, they'll be rounding the 16 talent tier here in just a moment. And you know Dignitas will have to respect that as the minion waves start to move forward. They're going to have to concede probably both of these forts eventually. It's just a matter of how much can they try and turn this around. Jaina, a big part of their wave clear, as is Blaze. We'll see their positioning here momentarily.
Snitch is getting pressured on the top half. Groundbreaker didn't land. He actually gets the cyber agility over the wall before the top, but then the root there from Sake. Another Groundbreaker set. Oh, my Scatter Arrow. Rich never misses, dude. He literally can curve the bullet every single time. He hits the smallest of walls and always hits the kill target there.
All right, top lane looks like where the focus is going to be here for Gen.G. No 16 yet. Jaina does have that wave clear available. Blizzard goes down, but not before Big One takes a little bit of a break, puts out a little bit of damage as the minions go down, as will the keep wall here in just a moment. The Gen.G respecting the 16, now picked up here for Dignitas. Does have that kill potential. It looks like Wubby still hanging out in that bot lane.
69 try and get that turn in. Yeah. Looking to get a backdoor turn in, but there's a 10-second difference here after that Web Weaver ends up dropping. Varian looking to join in with him as Dignitas pick up the night camp for themselves. Every time we've seen Dignitas do this, there has been an immediate answer from Gen.G doing the exact same thing, and that's not going to stop here. 3 nights in, 3 mirrored responses from Gen.G.
Jaina did go into Northern Exposure, so that armor reduction on 16 when you do hit that cone of cold. So we'll see if that can have an effect here to get those blow-ups. They've been looking for them, but only 5 kills to 5 so far. Dignitas still unable to find the big one, the big team fight that they're looking for. Gen.G starting to move forward. There's going to be the Dragon Arrow. It's going to part the seas. And now Kyocha, can he get in there, Dread?
Yeah, he was looking for a big entomb opportunity there on the point, but able to make it out now. Still quite a few gems necessary here for Gen.G before they have an opportunity for a Web Weaver phase. Not getting the top keep puts them in a position to not, be able to threaten that boss like we traditionally see, and also looking at, not full scatter build. Understandably so, considering it's tomb, but that does lower the boss racing capability for Gen.G. While be caught out, gonna get flipped over, forcing out a bunker.
Bunker already down though, but JPL see it. They get the target. They get the instant blow up onto Rich. They get the second kill. That's going to be Sake going down. Charge in onto reset is going to buy a little bit of time as the end of the fray goes, but that was insta kill.
Instant kill, and Dignitas waste no time. They're going to make the transfer out here towards that boss. You might be asking, why not go for the Web Weaver phase into the boss itself? And the answer is it's easier for Gen.G to be able to respond if you go in that order than going into the boss in the Web Weaver phase directly behind it. There's not going to be enough gems available whatsoever on the map for Gen.G to make it happen and get a Web Weaver phase for themselves. So instead, the answer is getting Siege on the bottom half of the map, looking to get the Giants to make that Web Weaver phase that much more difficult, or at least less profitable for Dig. Again, it's a window where Dig is getting a small victory, but they need map control, something else with it. And this is the moment where they gain control of this game, if they ever do.
The hard part is Siege Giants will take control of the bottom, so they have to make that something happen here in the top lane. Boss moving forward, and that is a massive minion wave here with it, and the Web Weavers will be soon to follow as they're still down in experience, but it's about to be made up for in abundance here. You can see Kyocha going out, trying to reduce some of the damage. Boss, about 50% health. Web Weavers now have spawned, Dread.
Lunara still not joined whatsoever here, showing herself on mid, so a 1-4 split again for Gen.G, and Dignitas have to capitalize on this. They need to use the kill potential of their composition while they have a man up. Kyocha, Wraith walking through the members. They go in with another jet propulsion along with the lurking arm, but they buy time there with the Dragon Arrow. Bunker dropped. Looking on the back line, Kyocha in the 1v1 into Poik, but they turn around with the X-Strike and they get the kill.
Get it for now. The keep starting to fall. They might still have enough behind this as it is a 5 versus 4. No 20 tier yet. So Water Elemental spawn, they're going to go ahead and retreat, fall back, look to cycle out over mid, see if they can get some more structure damage in. They should also have enough for another turn in. We'll know here momentarily as the last Web Weaver still barely surviving. But now the race for 20 here for Dignitas. Could this be the moment that they're able to start to gain complete control, potentially try and end this game, get back in the series?
As we see 78 gems reside in the hand of Dignitas, and they will be able to pick up 20 talents here advantage. In that downtime, they need to be able to force that Web Weaver phase. Middle fort still stands, so rotations are a little bit more difficult. Typically, you'd say you want to be pressuring in the middle half of the map at this point in time, but do you want to waste that much Web Weaver, kind of HP available, as it does lose HP with distance and time? We'll find out. Dignitas rounding the 20, and Web Weaver, can they close out this game?
They don't have a whole lot in reserve, so it's a matter of, do you go for it all here and then take a 20 versus 20? I'd say at minimum you need another keep out of this to say that you have control, because if you don't get a keep out of this or you don't end the game, I'd say that it probably wasn't worth it, and then Dignitas, they're just going to have to fight 20 versus 20 against this. Needless to say, Web Weavers are here. See what Dignitas can make happen.
Not a 1-4 split, at least not quite yet. Leoric, the off-lane splitter this time. Snitch trying to capitalize, forcing out actually an Entomb there. Big win for Team Dignitas, as they're going to be able to claim this middle fort. Top Web Weaver sieging up, looking to get damage onto the core. Reset on that Lunara, looking to deal with that. Dignitas make their classic rotation now to the bottom half, looking to join this Web Weaver. And this is where Gen.G holds their stand and look to turn this fight, or Dignitas get a couple of kills and maybe win this game.
20 is picked up now for Gen.G. You can see Kyocha on the flank. Keep it on your mini-map. New York will be coming in.
Taunt.
Still 20 seconds. There's going to be the taunt. Can they get the blow up? There's going to be the damage. There's going to be the switch strike in. That's going to be kill number 1.
But Poik is falling very, very low. The scatter arrow along with the heal there. Azalea able to get the health up for Poik and friends, so they hold on for now, but this Web Weaver has been effectively dealt with. 50 seconds before Garrosh joins back in. Kyocha questioning if he wants to advance, but Zaylia with that massive shove makes it a very clear answer. But Dignitas, are they going to stick around here over this bottom keep?
Looks like they're going to turn their attention towards the night camp, maybe posture up with this on that mid keep. 33 seconds away before Garrosh is here. Wubby starting to clear the mid lane. Again, I feel they need to get another keep. They need to get more structural control because right now, Gen.G is still sitting on enough gems for turn, and it's going to be a while before Dignitas has that turn in.
I'm not sure how I feel about this rotation either. Grabbing the night camp to be able to get pressure through mid, but that's not going to be enough, I think, to buy enough time here. Maybe it will be. Dignitas with that swift rotation end up getting the bottom keep to their name, and that is absolutely a colossal win that restores a lot of the macro pressure here. Now that they have both top and bottom keep down, the one lane that Gen.G's been focusing throughout mid is the only one that they really have any advantage in whatsoever. Dignitas in prime position to be able to close this out, but there are enough gems for Gen.G, not the same story in Dignitas.
It's going to be a while. They're sitting about 23 gems short currently. Boss still a point of contention as we start to move through this game. Getting all the camps, help continue to keep these lanes pushed out. But right now, Gen.G, it looks like they might have that turn in. As long as there's camps, as long as there's catapults, this neutralizes a lot of the potential push from those Web Weavers. So nice heads up play here by Dignitas. I feel for Gen.G, Dread, because they just had enough for turn in. They might need to be aggressive with this to make it even halfway worth it.
Completely agree. And actually, Dignitas see this, and they're going to get the, at least attempt to get the pick onto Sake, but Snitch forced to use the X-Strike. Wubby comes in with the jet propulsion. Dragon's Arrow lands onto 4 members. Rich and friends poking and prodding Snitch, trying to get the retreat. Keep in mind, Leoric flanking from above. This is a very risky position for Dignitas. Oh my Entomb. This is going to be a problem for Dig.
Buried alive. Let's see if he can land it. It's going to land under 2 people, and let's see if that's going to be enough. Bunker not in position, and that's going to be 2 people down already on the side of Dignitas. JPL trying to get into that bunker, trying to get out on the other side. Wubby pushing back, but I don't know if this is going to be enough. Tranquility's holding Dread.
Yeah, JPL trying to kite and keep himself alive, but it is not going to matter. He is the 3rd man to drop. Wubby kiting away, but Kyocha's not going to let that happen there. And with these 4 members of Dignitas down, Gen.G likely looking to lock in this game and shut out this series.
They should have it. I mean, this is still a long time before we see the members of Dignitas up, and those Warriors especially. And right now, Gen.G looking to close it out, keep starting to fall. Web Weaver shortly behind them. This looks like it's going to be enough.
The Web Weaver phase came online, and both you and I were talking about how much aggression Gen.G needed, but Dignitas, with the ones trying to force the hand and force the error on the other side, not expecting that flank from the Leoric there. They didn't need aggression when Dignitas brought the fight to them, and great counter answer here from Gen.G, and only further their advance through the rosters and bracket here at the Mid-Season Brawl.
Just so surprising to me that that was the call. Obviously, Snitch maybe overstepped his boundaries with Gen.G there, but a perfect reaction from Rich, who's very well aware of what was about to happen as he hit a perfect Dragon Arrow on that X-Strike on the way back that ended up hitting 3 members. So credit where credit's